That girl is over. And she works her ass off. And when she did the whole, bloodbath deal, she like took it to a different level. You're up by 15, you're up by 20, you're pumped, you're talking smack. All of a sudden you're down by 3. Oh my God.
Bro, WWE was in the red. I mean, it was really a desperate time. And bro, I'll be honest with you, because it was a desperate time and Vince didn't know where to go or what to do, an unproven like me got an opportunity. Do you know why Vince McMahon did not show up?
All right, let's start off with the bro, my God moment of the week. See, this week we're going to talk about the Forbidden Door. Ladies and gentlemen, the Forbidden Door. That is a big thing going on with the AEW, bringing in people from working with New Japan and several other things, former ROH people there. Jay Lethal being signed to AEW now. On the same Forbidden Door topic, there was a major announcement of former multi-time WWE Women's Champion Mickie James appearing in the Royal Rumble, who is currently the Impact Women's Champion, the Impact Knockouts Champion. Very surprising thing there. It seems like WWE is trying to pad this Women's Royal Rumble because, they really don't have 30 female superstars to work with because people are either hurt or released. So we'll start with Vince tonight. Do you think that WWE is open to work with other promotions because of this big announcement? Pat McAfee even announced that she is the Impact World Champion, even announced the Impact Wrestling promotion on SmackDown. What do you think this means, Vince? Is this a way to just bring in legends? Do we see some type of people working, or ultimately does this just make WWE look good for the Royal Rumble?
I think it makes them look good for the Royal Rumble, Chris. I don't see them, conducting business this way going forward. Bro, we also have to remember the plastic bag fiasco.
Yeah.
And bro, you don't do that to a Mickie James. I mean, bro, anybody who has ever worked with Mickie loves Mickie. And that was just a really bad thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of makes up for it. And, they're doing Impact a favor by, promoting her as the Impact Women's Champion. But let's face it, Chris, what are they drawing? 50,000 viewers. I mean, that's not going to hurt the WWE as all. So I think it makes their Rumble stronger, and I think they make up to Mickie James a little bit the way she was released.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before I get to you, Paige, I'm thinking, kind of try to make amends or create some type of bridge from the plastic bag fiasco, which I believe they found out it was Seaman, right? It was the one who did that, who had something to do with that, which I think Triple H let him go. Cannon Seaman, I believe, or whatever his name is. So the thing is with that, Paige, ultimately, Mickie James decided to go back and work with WWE after the plastic bag fiasco. What do you think about this, man?
Well, for starters, I think she cut a hell of a promo. I thought she did a hell of a job on that. I think James is amazing talent, and she's one of the girls who've been able to, run it for a long time, man. You don't normally get the run that. And I think this is a way. I just remember back when, Jake was going in the Hall of Fame, and then they brought me in to announce him, which, I thought that was a no-brainer. I literally thought, of course I'm going to induct Jake. And then they called me and said, good news, we're going to have you induct Jake. And I was just thinking, oh, yeah, it's their TV. So they place things out there before they bring him in. So I think it's another thing to help Mickie, because she's a Hall of Famer. And I think it's bringing her back. She gets that push, and she'll get a hell of a pop, and she'll go out there and drop some girls, and most likely she'll be gone at some point. But who knows? But I think the way of just bringing her back into the fold, and as you know, it's always a surprise. But unless if they would have brought Jake in around the time that we were, taking him through the accountability crib, and he was on his company, if they'd have brought him, they would have been smart to, announce him. And that was when it actually went around there. So, look what they did with Jake, So, I think just the way you get in the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's interesting as far as Mickie James. This kind of can be an on-ramp to inducting Mickie James to the Hall of Fame. Vince, what do you think about WWE possibly working with other promotions? As far as, like you said, Impact, there's a smaller amount of numbers, but, Impact is making some steam. You got some, people that was there before, like Cass is W. Morrissey. He's in the main event scene right now. Jonah was there, who used to be in NXT, was real big. He's there. Matt Cardona's there. So they've got some big names. There's even rumors that William Regal might get offered a position in Impact Wrestling. Do you think that'll be a good grab for Impact?
Paige?
No, that's for you, Vince.
No, definitely, bro. Absolutely. Bro, the guy has so much wisdom, knowledge, and experience. Paige could tell you, man. Paige worked with him for a long time. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
Now, do you think that he should go to Impact or NWA? Do you think there's any more wrestling life in William Regal, or do you think he just stays the backstage role of GM?
He's got a great mind, and I will never forget him bringing me over when Bryan Danielson, back when he was Daniel Bryan in WWE, he just come in, and he wanted me to meet him, and he said, "This kid right here is going to be one of the biggest stars in the company." And I didn't, I'd never even really, I'd heard about his independence, and a lot of people where he was respected, but Steve is that's the guy who really knows the business on all levels. So whoever got a chance to get him, you got to keep working and making money, So I think whoever gets him, it's it's great for them. So the ratings, the way they are right now, even though the WWE is a bazillion-dollar company and everything, they're making tons of money. Even though they're not drawn, they're still, because the must-see TV element. So I think that it would be really, smart because it's when we did it and it was a work with Hall and Nash and Hulk, did his thing. It looked like to regular people, they thought, "Oh my God, they're co-promoting stuff." If they did something with, even AEW, if they did something with, I think that bringing someone like Cass in, you bring William Morrissey in, man, and he walked down the crowd and walked over that lane, started choke slamming dudes. Poof.
That would be interesting.
Impact. Unintended. But,
unintended. And he's an entirely different person now than when he was in WWE. He looks like he's jacked now. He looks fantastic now compared to what he did in WWE. He's really got himself together and really turned a new leaf on not only his career but his life. As far as just staying disciplined with his routine. And so I think him coming to the WWE, talk about a forbidden door, I think he'd be a good grab for them to work with.
Just even that co-promotion, because it sounds, and only because WWE, they're a very rich company, but their ratings not so great. So something like that sparks wrestling, man. That sparks, people talking. Oh, wait a minute, I got to turn that in. You don't know what's,
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Let's go brawling down memory lane for a second, fellas. So with this cross branding, let's go back to the '90s with WWE versus WCW. That was the pinnacle of pro wrestling viewing at that time. Yes, there were other promotions, but WWE, WCW were the two premier brands, and they were battling it out against each other during the Monday Night Wars from 1995 to 2001. There's a lot of potential dream matches that could have came from those two brands working with each other. Could have had a Goldberg versus Austin. You could have had a Sting versus The Undertaker, which could have happened still, but they never really crossed paths, even when they both went to WWE. And you could have had a DDP versus The Rock, the battle of the people's champions. We'll start with you, Paige. Do you think that Vince McMahon would have been open to work with Eric Bischoff back then?
Not a chance.
Okay.
not, not a chance. Especially, what Bish was spewing, man. I mean, Eric Bischoff is the first guy in power to let Kevin Nash pick him up and freaking powerbomb him through the stage.
Yeah.
Vince had never done any of that. But after that, it followed because he saw the impact of it. And, Bischoff just going out, never forget of that night, challenging Vince McMahon to a brawl. Not long after that, Triple H came with his crew and the tank and all that. I don't know who came up with that, Vince, but that was fun genius. That was like, oh, you want to fight? We'll bring it to you in this tank. And those guys had so much fun with that. And that's what the people could feel, and I think that's a big thing that swayed it. Like when we were kicking ass, we were having fun, man. But it's just like a basketball game. You're up by 15, you're up by 20, you're pumped, you're talking smack. All of a sudden you're down by 3. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince, that was your call for that segment, right?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Paige, I'm going to disagree with you on this one, and I'll tell you why, Chris. Chris, I don't think people really know prior to the Attitude Era, bro, WWE was in the red. I mean, it was really a desperate time. And, bro, I'll be honest with you, because it was a desperate time and Vince didn't know where to go or what to do, an unproven like me got an opportunity. Bro, I would have never got the opportunity, but, bro, desperate times call for desperate measures. So I think if Vince was in that same position and Eric was doing the business he was doing, with WCW, I think Vince would have hitched his wagons in a heartbeat because, bro, there was some desperation during that time. A lot of people don't realize, man.
No, but if that was so, he had the challenge. All he had to do was say, listen, you pipsqueak, I'll meet you out there.
Do you know what? Paige, right hand to God. Do you know why Vince McMahon did not show up?
No, I have no idea.
Bro, I swear to God, Paige, me and Vince are sitting at Vince's living room table. Eric throws this challenge out. Vince is pissed. Forget TV, forget all that bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Now you've challenged me as a man.
I get it.
Do you know what was the only thing that kept him from getting on a plane and going to that show?
No idea.
Stephanie McMahon graduated Boston College that day.
Oh. But anytime after that statement, Vince could have gone on and called him out. But he
probably should have. But he was ready to go, Chris. If I'm telling you, if Stephanie's graduation was not that day, that lunatic would have showed up at that building.
And he wouldn't have might have been for great
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
On both sides, the numbers would have jumped by 1 or 2 easy. Because then
absolutely.
But when it comes down to it, we did have the huge opportunity to do People's Champion versus People's Champion. And you didn't see that happen. And I pitched it. So it wasn't, I knew it 2 years before I was going to go there. That's what it had to be. But that would have put a phenomenal WWE guy against a phenomenal WCW guy. And we would have soared. But we couldn't do that because it was not the time to lift anybody up in WCW. There was too much heat. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it till I was in it. And then I was like, man.
Yeah.
Wait.
And that's in that same vein, when the tank, the DX tank came in that segment, as far as I know, now both of y'all worked with them. Kevin Nash actually wanted the door to stay open. It was a Bischoff call to close the door, right? To close the entry door. And so, what do you think? And I know that I've interviewed and talked to Bischoff half a dozen times at least, and he's made it very clear that, man, maybe I should have at that moment, I didn't want to stir up anything, but maybe in that moment, I should have kept the door open, because at the end of the day, and I'll let you, your thoughts on this page first. At the end of the day, it would have been DX on Nitro. It would have just boosted up the segment right there. What do you think, Paige? You think he should have kept the door open?
I never realized that it happened till after it already had happened, and then I heard about it. I had no idea that had happened, and would have been amazing coming in, because that it's kind of like you climbing over the railing and getting in the ring.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys that would not appreciated that, man, and who knows how it would have went down? Because it's kind of like when Scott Hall showed up, and Enos had no idea. Enos was in the ring. God, who was he in the ring? I can't remember who was in the ring with.
Oh man, I think I remember who it was, but I forgot his name. Yeah.
Like what?
Was it Dunn? Was it Dunn from Well Done? What's his name? Oh, I think it was one of the Dunns from Well Done. It was I'll find out.
The guy stopped. Scott grabs the mic and starts cutting a promo. No one knows this is happening.
Yeah.
The guys who were Bischoff, Sullivan. I don't know much after Bischoff and Sullivan. I knew because it got set up in my driveway drinking beers. The whole NWO started there. Never thinking it's going to be what it is, but that impact of Scott showing up, and that's how it should be done no matter what. Something like this with Mickie James, I think is great because it's the Rumble and it's going to get a hell of a pop, And like I said, I think it sets her up for a Hall of Fame down the line.
Yeah, it was Steve Dahl. I was right. He was Steve Dunn as Well Done.
Oh,
and
right.
he was in a match against Mike Enos. He was the Mauler at the time.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
But you know what, Chris? I'll tell you what. Eric's always thinking business. I mean, he always is. And bro, I'm going to tell you something. In my opinion, he absolutely made the right call because, bro, you would have had so many lawsuits because, bro, you're talking about television rights. All of a sudden now you're going to have WWE properties on WC. Bro, there would have been so many lawsuits going on back and forth. And at the end of the day, I think closing that door was probably the right thing to do from a business standpoint.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I can see both ends as far as just trying to get that quick pop in the ratings, but then the legal stuff, it's like, I really don't have a choice. So let's close it up with, go ahead, Paige.
You also have to understand that the reason why things happened the way they did was because Vince McMahon is a wrestling company. And it's all about the WWE. All the time with every person. Vince can testify to that. But WCW, we were a wrestling company that was owned by a television company that didn't respect who we were. And now they've got wrestling on TBS and TNT 20 years later for a quarter of what the ratings, because that's what the today with all the streaming and everything, it's not like that must-see TV. If we ever could have got TNT to show the NBA and these different top shows and people from WCW like they do AEW, are you kidding me? I mean, they treat it the way Fox treats it when WWE, has, every main star up there, along with the biggest movies in the world and NFL. It's like right there on the level. We never had that. When we had Turner, it didn't matter. But when Ted Turner got moved to the left and sent out the pasture, man.
It was good points there, Paige. All right, let's close it up with the low bro to close up the show tonight. So, in this same vein, I'm going to hire the both of you as recruiters, as talent scouts for WWE. You have a chance. If there's two people, if there's both brands working with each other, we're having a talent exchange. Both of you have the opportunity to choose 3 current talents from AEW to come over to WWE. We'll start with you, Vince Russo. Who would they be?
Bro, I think it's easy for me. Wardlow, and supposedly, they're looking
They're eyeing him. Yeah.
MJF, who everybody would say. And, bro, they could market the crap out of Darby Allin, bro. They would make so much money off of his merch. The kids would love him. It would make WWE a little cool again. It would be those 3 guys for me without even thinking about it.
I like that.
Well,
Paige, who we got?
We're close, and those are 3 great choices. My top pick, no matter what, is MJF, because he's been my boy all the way through. I just watched that promo again with him and Punk, which went the 19-minute promo. It on both sides, Punk and him. It was so money. Like, MJF is one of the only true heels in the business, and he would be my number 1 pick. My number 2 pick would be Britt Baker, because that girl is over, and she works her ass off. And when she did the whole, bloodbath deal, she took it to a different level. And then the guy I bring in is Cody Rhodes, who never had the opportunity, can talk as good or better than anybody in the business. And I think he would be monster money there now, because he proved what he had to prove, and he did it in a big way. And it would be brilliant of them to, MJF and Britt and him. But I love Wardlow too. That kid's a great talent, and he fits right into that whole, situation in Darby. Again, he's my boy, man. I mean, that kid, a lot like Rey Mysterio, only completely different. But that same markability, like having the machine behind a talent like Darby Allin, forget about it.
Yeah, I like it. So my three choices would be number one, I think it's pretty unanimous, MJF for sure. I think MJF is absolute money. You hit it spot on, DDP. I say this all the time. I love true heels. Good heels make good baby faces, period. When I did a media interview with Sting and Flair and JR a few years back, I asked them that question, as far as what do you think about this kind of gray area? Do you still appreciate the art of the true baby faces and true heels? And Sting said, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for people like Flair, if it wasn't for people like Rick Rude, I wouldn't be the Sting I am today. And I appreciate him saying that because people like MJF still appreciates that art to eventually you're drawing all this heat to put people over. Like Brian Pillman Jr., for instance. He's kind of middle of the card guy, booked in AEW right now with Griff Garrison as the Varsity Blondes tag team. But MJF is so over and his promo is so scathing. He was able for a few weeks to make Brian Pillman Jr. a main event talent.
Yeah.
Only because of cutting promos. And that just goes to show what a heel should do. And I love that in MJF. And he really can build up and make baby faces because WWE is in such a deficit of baby faces right now. MJF would be that guy. I think Wardlow's there too. I think it makes sense of why WWE's eyeing him. Just a heck of a talent, super cool physique. He would need a stick man. I think he would need some type of manager to back him up. I think like an LA Knight may work with him because I think LA Knight's still one of the best mic guys in all of professional wrestling. And I like him as that manager role. My third one would be Hangman Page, just because of the momentum that he has right now. I think Hangman is money. I love, my thing is entrances. I think that is such a crucial part of someone's character. And I always say the WrestleMania test. Can you have that big grand entrance at WrestleMania? Is your theme song and your entrance that WrestleMania worthy? And I think Hangman's theme song is one of the best in the business right now. It feels regal. It feels cavalier. It feels like a star. And I think he has that potential. And I like Adam Page. I think he has potential.
When they were first putting all this together, he said, that's our guy. He said that way before anybody did. And then when he started to come out, he wasn't ready. So he backed him down a couple notches. But it never changed that what Cody and I talked about. He's like, this kid can do so much. He got to really, not work with him, but be a part of that group in Japan. So he got to see something seen him do. And he's a great athlete and good looking kid. And, he's got a great last name.
Very nice. That's your nephew, Dallas. That's your nephew. I think one of these days you're going to spill the beans that he's your nephew, basically. Well, let them know about the. Go ahead, Paige. Go ahead.
A much better worker, though.
But you've got the brains, though. You've got the brains. He's still learning, and you've got the brains to teach him. So absolutely. All right, Paige. You've got some projects. You've got a movie coming out. You've got a podcast. Man, you're a busy man.
Dude, I'm blown away by the response we've gotten from DDP Snake Pit. And what's really cool is next week when we launch our next one, we're going to start talking about heels and just what we think of it. And it's not it's not the show. It's just like a quarter of the show. It's just something we just wanted to throw in there to put some light on that. And Conrad's really great to have in there because he's always on that computer, and he just pulls up stuff that like I had no idea of. Like one of the hottest shows right now is Yellowstone, right? And that had an 80, Rotten Tomatoes 80 or 86 rating. Heels had a 96. I was like, what? Each week we're going to say a little bit about it. They're not paying me to do it. It's something I wanted to do because I hadn't seen anybody doing it. And I'm always trying to find something that sets the show apart. And I love my favorite is the YouTube because we get to see me and Jake and the stuff that happens between us while we're there, and just all the shots, the video shots and pictures and stuff. It's it's been a lot of fun so far.
Nice. That's DDP Snake Pit. Check out the podcast. Two of the best storytellers in all of professional wrestling, DDP and Jake the Snake Roberts. Vince Russo, you have an all-star lineup of podcast, former and current wrestling stars on the brand. Let them know where to find them, man.
Yeah, guys, just go to russosbrand.com. That'll send you everywhere you need to go. But yeah, bro, we got about 15, 20 podcasts. I was on with the great Stevie Ray today, man. I could talk to Stevie Ray, all day long. But so many guys. I was talking to Al Snow this morning, Stevie Ray this afternoon, bro. So life is good. But just go to russosbrand.com.
Nice. Follow me at Chris Prolific. There you go right there. Follow me at Chris Prolific for everything Dr. Chris Featherstone related. And if you, I'm having people asking me psychology therapy questions. I'm getting more of an onslaught of messages about therapy, and I love what I do. So I'm thankful to do that. I might start charging people though, because I charge a lot of money for what I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is Diamond Dallas Page. He is Vince Russo. They are former WCW World Heavyweight Champions. And don't you ever forget about it. This is the Bro Show. Have a good night. Bye.
See you, boys.
See ya.